Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, welcome to another episode of Roll the Tape podcast with Manager Marty. I know that we are in competition, apparently, but you know what? I'm glad that you are here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here with me this evening. We're going to talk about the sport of boxing and the business of boxing as always. And the thing is that when we come together as the boxing community on YouTube, we always learn more. And it doesn't mean that everything is going to go smoothly when we learn more, but the objective on this channel, on this podcast, and every broadcast is to provide two things: education and entertainment. And I think that with the help of the Roll the Tape film crew, we've been doing such a wonderful job. And you all who are a part of the Roll the Tape film crew, let me tell you, thank you. I welcome you. I welcome each and every last one of you viewers that's watching the replay of this live. If you are here and you really don't like me for whatever reason, and you're here spying and taking notes and then regurgitating the notes, or if you were sent over here by someone, I welcome you all as well. We're going to talk about the sport of boxing, and we're going to talk about the business of boxing. We're going to try to cover at least enough ground where you can taste this fresh bread that we always give you on this channel. Salute and welcome to each and every last one of you who are in the chat, who are engaging in the chat, who have acknowledged me publicly in the chat. Thank you so much for your support. Let me tell you all, we are well over 850,000 views thus far in a time span of 7 months, and about 302 or 303 videos uploaded. And so I want to say thank you all again for your viewership, for your financial contributions, for your time that you invest here, and just being a part of this podcast, even when you join the panel. Thank you all so much. We're going to talk some boxing. Before we do that, though, I told y'all before that the next segment that we do, we have to do our Town Watch check-in. And so we have to do it today. We're going to get right into it, y'all. We're not going to hold you all too long this evening. But we got to do our Town Watch check-in. I don't think we did it in our last segment, but we got to do it here. I'm trying to put together a very, very special segment this Friday. A very, very special segment this Friday. I don't have the time just yet, but I'm trying to put something together. A special segment for each and every last one of you because we need answers. We need answers. Your answers to the questions that you have been secretly asking me and publicly asking me. Oh, yes, they're going to be answered. So we're going to do our Town Watch check-in. Before we do that, though, let me introduce the new audience to what our Town Watch check-in is, what it represents, why we do it, and how we all can participate in it. If you're viewing this channel and this podcast for the very first time, I want to say welcome. I thank you for your viewership and the time that you are investing. You're going to learn something about the business of boxing and or the sport of boxing that you did not know before you encountered this broadcast tonight, and I appreciate you very, very much. Now, we got to get to our Town Watch check-in, right? Got to get to it. What is our Town Watch check-in as the viewership is increasing exponentially? Our Town Watch check-in is very simple. Let me tell you why we do it first, and then we're going to start it. So the Town Watch check-in, you've never seen this nowhere else on YouTube in the boxing community, but you're experiencing it here. So our Town Watch check-in is our icebreaker that we do prior to us starting our segments on the live broadcast here on the Roller Tape podcast with Manager Marty. And one of the things that our Town Watch check-in symbolizes is inclusion. And in our Town Watch check-in, doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter where you reside now, doesn't matter if you agree, doesn't matter if you disagree with someone else's perspective, no matter what your perspective is, no matter what your perspective is not, no matter what your position is on a particular topic, no matter what your opinion is, no matter what your truth is, you are all included on this channel. You are all included to participate in the live chat on this podcast. Now, it is our way of publicly acknowledging that even though we come from all walks of life, we represent different geographical locations, and we have different perspectives and opinions, we all share one thing in common, and that is our love for the sport of boxing. So in our Town Watch check-in, if you're watching the replay of this live, you can also participate in the comments section below. And if you are watching us live and you are a part of the chat, all you got to do is insert where you're from and or where you're located now, geographically speaking, any city, any state, any country, and any island. And I'm going to start it off first, and then I'm going to publicly acknowledge where you are from or where you are at, and we're going to get this show popping. Y'all ready? I need more energy than that, y'all. Are you ready? Okay, cool. I think you're ready, so let's get it done. I represent the DFW, the state of Texas, Arlington, Texas to be exact, the Mansfield section to be even more exact, Tarrant County to be even more exact by way of my hometown, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philly is in the building. Where are you from? Tell me where you're at. Let's get this Town Watch check-in cracking. Ohio was in the building by way of Dayton. Who else we got in here? So we got Ohio in the building. Come on, y'all, let's check on in. We got to get the energy flowing right now. We can't have a show when it's dry. We can't, we listen. I don't have to tell y'all to click the like button and share this. Need y'all to share the content too. We need the education and entertainment value that this podcast produces to reverberate all around the world. But for right now, I need y'all to check on in. Baltimore is in the house. I see you. Who else we got in here? Let's check on in. Los Angeles is in the building. I see you. Salute. Omaha, Nebraska is here in the building tonight. Salute. Who else we got in here? 505, New Mexico. New Mexico is in the building tonight. Come on, y'all. Let's check on in. Let's check on in. Mobile is in the house tonight. Who else we got in the building? Washington, D.C. is here with us tonight. Woo, we're going to bring the heat. You know why we're going to bring the heat? Because Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona is in the building. Come on, y'all. Let's check on in. Who else we got in here? Waynesboro, Tennessee is here. Hey, Sarge St. Clair, I'm going to answer your question in just a minute, but hold on for a minute. Sarge, you can't be in the chat asking questions. You got to check on in. Come on, Sarge Sinclair. I know that you're one of the detractors, but brother, this ain't even the time to do all that. I need you to check. Where you from, Sarge? Drop your location in chat, man, so we can acknowledge your city, state, country, or island. Queen City, by way of Motown, in the building. I see you. Who else we got in here? Let's check on in. We got to bring the energy up when we start these type of podcasts. We got to check on in. We got to check on in, man. Who else we got in here? Who else we got here? Let's check on in. That's it? Oh, I know for a fact. I know for a fact that's not it. Because family is in the chat. And you know I always acknowledge when I see family in the chat. My guy, the Big G, representing ATL, shorty. AM Sports Media is in the building. I see you. Glen Heights, Texas is here. Representing from Iowa is in the building. I see you. Jersey in the house. Let's go. Who else we got in here? Come on, y'all. Let's check on in. If AM Sports Media in the chat, all the way from ATL, I know we got somebody else. We done represented the Dirty South. We represented the West Coast. We done represented the East Coast tonight. I'm looking for somebody in the Midwest to come represent. I know we got one. I know we got at least one person from the Midwest. I know we do, as the viewership is increasing exponentially. Come on, let's check on in. Listen, we know we in competition with somebody else. I don't know who, but I know that when the viewership is wane, it's because somebody else probably lied. But it don't make no difference. You all here tonight. And I appreciate your viewership, and we're going to talk boxing this evening. Y'all heard what Shawnee D told y'all to do, to smash that like button as you come on through. Can I get one more before we start? One more. Just one. Can I get one more? One more. I don't want to drag this thing out, y'all. But this is the energy level. The energy level got to be here when we check on in. Can I get one more check-in? Just one. I don't ask for much. Just one. One more check-in. Let's do this thing right, y'all. See, we bring creativity to the podcast when y'all come in here. You see what I'm talking about? Salute to the Road to Take Film crew members that's in the chat. Salute to all the Road to Take Film crew members that's watching live and living color. I knew we had one. Chesapeake, Virginia is in the building. I see you. Can I get one from the Midwest somewhere? Just one. I know somebody from the Midwest is going to represent. I already know. Yeah, let's talk about it. Come on, man. I see what's going on. My city in here, man. Philly in the building. I see you in the chat. Salute. What part of Philly you from? The Mitchell Show. The Mitchell Show. What part of Philly, man? What part of Philly you from? Where you at? I want to see what's up with the Mitchell Show, man. Representing my city, man. Philly here, man. You know how we do. Did y'all notice that every now and then, Manager Marty always slide that? I always slide my Philly. When I say, you know what I mean? When I say that, y'all know that's Philly when I say that, right? The Mitchell Show representing North. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wichita, Kansas is in the building. We got people all over the world that come and support and view the podcast. We appreciate you. Philly in the building. North, a Mitchell Show. I'm from North, Mitchell Show. Where you from in North real quick, Mitchell? I don't want to put you on the spot. I appreciate your viewership, but when I see my city in the chat, it just makes me excited. That's all. What part of North you from, Mitchell? What's up, Tashi? I see you. Representing Los Angeles, California in the building. I see you. West Coast in the building. What part of North? Uh-oh. H-Town. You know how I go down when H-Town come in town. What part of North you from, Mitchell Show? I'm from 1-0, man. 10th and Pop, man. See how I'm talking? That's that Philly talk. Mitchell Show know what time it is when I talk like that. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What's going on with y'all? What's up, Brian? Hey, Brian, I'm trying to I think I gave Brian a wrench already. Hey, Brian, real quick. Did I give you a wrench already? I thought I did, Brian. I be forgetting sometimes. I be trying to show love to those that show me love. You hear me? Brian, did I give you a wrench yet? Tashi, did I give you a wrench yet? I want to make sure. I had both of y'all on my mind to give y'all a wrench earlier this week. I want to make sure I hook y'all up if I didn't already. Brian and Tashi, can y'all just confirm in the chat? West Baltimore is in the building. I see you. All right, all right. I got my man Brian. Appreciate. All right, I got Brian. Appreciate that. Hey Tashi, you said no. I got you tonight, sweetheart. I promise you. I got you. When this live go off, I got you. Wrench on me. Appreciate your support, Tashi, as always. 7th in Montgomery. I know that's right. Hey, Mitchell Show. 10th and Pop. That's where I'm born and raised, man. Born and raised. Richard Allen. Cambridge Mall Projects. That's where that's what we do. You welcome, Tashi. I see you. That's what we do. Shout out to 7th in Montgomery, man. Yes, indeed. That's Philly. I'm talking to somebody from Philly. I hope y'all don't mind. I be seeing when I see my city in the chat, I got to represent my city and represent the people that represent my city. You know what I'm talking about? All right, now we're gonna talk some boxing real quick because there was a question on the floor. And I listen, y'all, all of this is always unscripted. Every podcast I do, unscripted. So there was a question, and I know that there's the guy Sarge Saint Clair. He is very active in my chat. I know, Sarge, I don't think you like me, and I'm actually okay with that. Oh, I told you somebody. I missed it. I was scrolling down and I seen it. Somebody is from the Midwest here, and the wind was blowing, but I just couldn't find out what direction it was coming from. But I caught it. Southside Chicago, DMG. I see you in the chat. I missed it, but I caught it. Southside Chicago. I knew somebody from the Midwest was up in here. Southside of Chicago in the building. Now, all right. All right. Y'all see it on your screen. Let me just do this for a minute. I got to do this. This is important. I got to do this. I got to do this. Every segment, I got to do this. I got to show my face. I know some other people don't show their face the whole time. That's their channel. That's their podcast. We respect them. But over here, we show face. Now, I did a whole entire segment, and I'm not going to repeat some of the things I said in the previous segment months ago. So if you really want to know who I manage, there's a segment that I did. It's a piece of published content. It was live, too. I did a entire live, answering the question of who I manage. And a lot of people actually learned a lot about who I manage. And I want to make sure, because I know Sarge, I know you didn't pay, Sarge. You didn't pay to get this on the screen. It would have been nice if you would have contributed to the channel, but we appreciate your viewership, Sarge. I really do. But we're going to give you the 15 seconds of fame that you really want. Okay? Because I always drop the link, Sarge. I've never seen you come onto the platform. But the chat is sufficient enough because the viewership is increasing exponentially now. Marty, explain what you are a manager of. Well, let me start here, Sarge. I manage a lot of different things. I do. I manage a lot of different aspects of my life. I manage a lot in boxing. And you know what that I get a kick out of, Sarge? I want to make sure I answer your question, Sarge. This is all entertainment. I manage to get the big channels to say my name. Isn't that amazing, Sarge? The big channels are saying my name. Now, I thought when I first got on YouTube that it's all about having a whole bunch of subscribers. That's probably one of the ways you can show that you have a large audience or, a large following, the subscribers and everything. Shout out to my guy, Omega Red. And I recognize that it's not so much about how many subscribers that you have. I mean, let me give you an example, Sarge. I want to make sure I answer all the questions that want to be asked tonight about me managing, right? There's a few channels, and you know some of them, right, that have said some very, very displeasing things about me, right? Now, let's say that one particular channel may have a lot more subscribers, right, than I do, right? And when you look at the viewership, though, the viewership and the audience is stale, right? May have double the amount of subscribers that I have, but their audience, their viewership is kind of stale, right? So what I'm basically getting at, this is no critique here. I'm not criticizing nobody. I'm just using this as an example. I want Sarge to get his question answered because Sarge is very active in the chat. Every show I do, he says something that he doesn't agree with me on. So I want to make sure Sarge and I, at least for tonight, because it gets more controversial than this every time we do a live, Sarge, okay? But for tonight, let's agree, okay? Now, that might be one channel, but I managed to get that channel who has double these subscribers that I have with lesser viewership than I have, but I still managed to get that channel to mention my name, put my face all in the thumbnail and all kind of stuff. Then I get to have the privilege of managing the bigger channels. I'm talking about the big time channels. That's at least 2 or 3 of them that I can name right off the bat, who always talking about me. And I didn't even realize that one of them recently was talking about me for weeks. No one even told me. It's amazing to me. So I managed to get even the bigger channels, you know, the ones that are pro Rich Glacier and pro Crawford, and hate PBC and hate Spence and hate the business of boxing and all kind of crazy stuff, right? For some odd reason, they know who I am, but it's not because I'm better than anybody. What it is I managed to get them to keep saying my name, even if they throw shots when they say my name. You know, Fanager Marty or Manager Farty, names like that. Eminem Stan, you heard that name get designated to me as well. I managed to get other content creators on YouTube to throw shots and diss me. I think that's a good thing. I mean, because if you really go back in history, you can see I've done nothing wrong to these guys. But hey, who cares? I love it. It's awesome when I see that the older veterans in the game on YouTube, they keep talking about the rookie. You see what I mean? It's not important. But I managed to get them to say all of these things about me when I never attacked these people. So when you look at somebody that's able to manage a group of people like that and who is able to micromanage the other type of people that invest their time in that, it don't make no difference who I manage in boxing. I manage more people on YouTube than I do in boxing. I managed to get Sarge to ask me the question to explain what I am a manager of. I managed to get thousands and thousands and thousands of people to comment in my comment section, even in the chat, thousands of people in the chat, I managed to get them to throw shots at me, to say displeasurable things about me, offensive things about me, and even hate on me. I managed to do that. And the reason why, thank you, Smooth Criminal, that's all the reason why that they talking about me in a negative light is because of what Smooth Criminal said. Look at your screen, you'll see what he said. Marty, keep it 100. You can ask anybody that know me personally. I keep it 100 personally too. So why not keep it 100 on YouTube? I'm just saying. You know, that's all it's about, y'all. They know I'm keeping it 100. You don't think they know? But I managed to get them not to keep it 100 to you, the audience, the viewership. Everything I say is true. No pun intended. I didn't come on YouTube to debate nobody. You know, Bandel, stop it. You know that's not why they're clowning me. You know, people have created memes of me. That's what I knew was crazy on YouTube. I mean, I watch other people get memes on them, but people have created memes on me. Got whole shorts all over TikTok with my face on there. Isn't that amazing? I like stuff like that, y'all. It's just entertainment. Can't take none of this stuff personal. You know? Motorsports, stop. You know you're not being honest. Motorsports? I'm talking about motorsport. I'm not going to give you no fame today, motorsports. But motorsports is in the chat saying that I didn't tell the truth about Bud. When I lie on Bud Crawford, man. Just name one lie that I lied about that man. Stop. Okay? It's just YouTube. Y'all, come on. Can't we all just get along? I don't care if we get along. I really don't. Y'all know I don't duck the smoke, but I'm just saying, what is this all about? It's just YouTube. We're just talking boxing. This don't have nothing to do with Manager Marty. I'm not famous. I didn't get on YouTube for no fame. I'm not that important. I'm not. But the education that I provide on this channel is more important. And that's all I care about. Okay, guys? Let me stop my show. Let me stop my show because I have to say this. I see the ladies in the chat, and I have to do this. Men, fellas, step aside for a minute. Hold on for a minute, because now I'm speaking to the ladies. Ladies, I want to tell you, thank you so much for being a part of this experience with me and the other Roll the Tape film crew members. Thank you for your viewership. Thank you for the contribution that you always provide and offer on this channel through your time, through your financial resources, and even just your presence. Because when you're in the chat, ladies, I want to tell you this right now. When you're in the chat, you all set the tone for other grown men that even come on this panel and be disrespectful. So I want to say to you, ladies, first and foremost, salute to each and every last one of you queens that always be so gracious in my chat. Y'all are so gracious. I've had men in my chat, and this is almost like every episode at this point. Act like you, the female. That bothers me sometimes, ladies. But you know what? when you set the tone, ladies, in the chat, it does ignite the real men to hold those other type of men accountable. So I want to say thank you. I had to put my Johnny Gill voice on tonight. Just for the ladies. Fellas, this is not for you. Step aside. Close your ears for the ladies. It's not for you. But I want to say thank y'all. Seriously. You know I play too much sometimes. But seriously though, I want to say thank you to all the ladies. I welcome you, each and every last one of you. Your viewership and support has increased exponentially over the last several months. And your participation in the chat does not go unnoticed. So I want to say thank you. And you know I'm one of the smoothest guys on YouTube now. So you know I'm a gentleman in everything I do. Okay? All right. Now, let's get to some boxing. But before I do that, let me get these 2 super chats real quick. And there should be more super chats coming. So let me say this from the bottom of my heart for the super chats that are here now and the ones that are going to be coming in the cash app that's going to be coming tonight throughout this broadcast. I want to say in advance, well in advance, thank you for your contribution and your support to this channel. I got my guy, Terrell Barnes. Terrell, thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Terrell says, peace, my brother. Let's get these likes up. Terrell, I want to tell you this, Terrell. Thank you again, right? You be making me laugh, Terrell. Every time I have Terrell Barnes, I got to tell the audience this, Terrell. Every time I have Terrell Barnes on my panel, when I go roll the tape back to do like my edits, I be in here cracking up. Terrell Barnes, I noticed something, Terrell. You like when I bring my face up to the screen like that. When I do that, certain fans, I'm not going to say the boxer's name of the fans, but they know who they are. When I catch them in traps that I set and questions that we need answers to that they don't want to be honest enough to answer, I do that, and Terrell Barnes love when I do that. So thank you, Terrell. Always a pleasure, brother. When you're in the chat, when you are on the panel, always a pleasure. Tashi, sweetheart, you already know. Thank you so much for your contribution and your support to the channel. Tashi says you are welcome. And she's saying that in response to what I just said in my public service announcement to all the ladies watching me live and live in color and the replay of this live. So thank you so much, Tashi. All right, now we got to talk about this. And I just want your perspective on it first. And then I'm going to invite an Errol Spence Jr. fan up here. Then I'm going to invite a Terrence Bud Crawford fan up here. I want to ask both fans their perspective on what we're going to talk about tonight. I know what you came here for, and I'm going to give you what you asked for. So, Terrence Crawford is stating publicly that he's willing to move all the way up to the 168-pound division to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, everybody in the world knows that Terrence Bud Crawford is a 147-pound, unified, undisputed, undefeated, number 1 welterweight champion of the world. We know this. He is number 1. He receives all of the credit on this channel, on everybody's channel, right? And the thing about it is this. I'm trying to correlate in my mind how it's possible for Terrence Crawford to move from 147 to skip 154 to skip 160 pounds and to make 168 pounds to fight Canelo Alvarez. We have to talk about that. Let's have a dialogue over that. It's just conversation. It's just boxing. Now, in the past, right, in the past week or two, people have been making some references about me bringing up one of the most famous 2 words that I'm starting to make notable on this channel. Snack program. It's like people get mad when I talk about that. I don't know why people be getting mad on this channel when I talk about the snack program. Like, why does that make people angry? Because the snack program might help. It might help him move up in these multiple weight classes. It might. I don't know. Somebody in the chat brought it up just now about the snack. So that's what made me bring it up just now. Uh, and then I've heard Crawford fans as recently as yesterday, not just in my comment section, but even on my telephone, even on my cell phone, even just the messages saying that Crawford can knock Canelo out. I think Canelo a little bit too big for Crawford, personally speaking, but everybody have their own perspective. And that's what I want to hear tonight. I want to hear the perspective. I have a question for Errol Spence fans as well, but I want to hear the perspective. And that's why we do the nip it in the bud segments. That's why we do the truth hurts. When we talk about Errol Spence, when we talk about Terrence Crawford, when we get both fan bases on the panel to get your perspective, because that's what this thing is all about. That's what it's all about, y'all. We're talking boxing, okay? I just had a question first while I'm about to fly the kite in the chat real quick. Why do people get mad when I bring up the snack program? Like, why does that bother certain people? I'm just curious. I mean, I don't know if an answer is sufficient enough. I just want to know why. Why does that bother people? Like, if I bring up snack program, like, I mean, why? Why does that bother people? I mean, there's people I know personally that might benefit from the snack program. You know what I mean? As far as their health is concerned, too much weight walking around, and it's just a lot of, you know what I mean? Just what is the problem? Y'all see the link in the chat, right? Y'all see that? Y'all see the link in the chat? I flew that kite out there. Okay? Yeah, link down there. Come on up. Come on up now. Anybody, come on up. Yeah. Come on up. You know people be watching me, y'all. You know they be watching. Listen, they refrain from being in the chat, but they be watching. I'm talking about a certain type of audience. Yeah. I'm talking about them. They can come up here too. Yeah, they sure can. That's why I put the link out there. Yeah. I just want to know, that's not the topic of the discussion tonight, but I just want to know, why do people get mad when I bring up the snack program? Like, why does that make people angry? That's why I do want to know that. I'm just curious, Why is that an issue for some people? Like, why does that bother so many people? Just curious. But I want to know the perspective, honestly, on Terrence Crawford moving up to the 168-pound division to fight Canelo if he wins against Charlo. Anybody there? Nobody? Nobody don't want to join the joint? Okay. I mean, I can run the show by myself. I really can, but I don't want to. I want a Spence fan to come up, a Crawford fan to come up, or just anybody. The new term is, when I ask people, "Are you a Terrence Crawford fan?" Uh, I'm a fan of boxing. If we know you're a fan of boxing, You wouldn't be on the podcast if you wasn't a fan of boxing. You wouldn't be watching boxing if you wasn't a fan of it. That goes without saying. Everybody's a fan of boxing. But I'm asking specifically, are you a Crawford fan? I'm a Spence fan too. See, it's like, why do people be doing that? Huh? Why? We need answers. Hey, real quick, y'all, did y'all learn anything when I have Rachel up here? So I just pinned the link to the top now. Yeah, I pinned that thing up there. Yeah, let me pin that to the top. Yeah, I pinned the link right up there. Yeah. Yeah. Pinned the link to the top. Let's see who we're going to get to come on here tonight. Yeah. Yeah, just want to have a dialogue over Crawford moving up to the weight division. We do have a guest in the back. I'm going to let him on. Is there a Terrence Crawford fan here? Anybody that's a Crawford fan? I want to get both perspectives on this. And I also have a question for a Spence fan as well, since everybody's talking about the rematch. And hey, let's see. Anybody else here? No, nobody else here. Wow, it's amazing. The viewership is increasing exponentially. I'm sure we have some people that want to give their perspective on, Crawford moving up to the 168-pound division to fight the winner of the Canelo versus Canelo fight. Yeah. I got here. And I'm going to let both of them on now. We got my guy, one of the most honest Terrence Crawford fans that I know personally. Mr. Greg Carterbaum is here. And then we got Motorsport Sports. Both of these guys are returning panelists. They're both Terrence Crawford fans. And I do have a question for both of you real quick. I do want to ask about Crawford moving all the way up. But before I ask that, I know the viewership want to know this as well. Why do everybody get mad at me? Let me take these off so I can hear what y'all have to say. I'll take my glasses off so I can hear, Mr. Greg. Why do people get mad at me when I bring up the snack program? Why does that bother certain people? I'll start with you, Motorsport. Why does that bother people when I bring that up, man? Testing 1 2 1 2. Is my mic on? Testing. My lavalier, is it working? Motorsports ran? I know Motorsports didn't do that. I know he didn't. He's been on this panel too many times. I know Motorsports did not do that. I know he didn't. I know he didn't. You know, Mr. Greg and Terrell, I got my man Terrell up here now. Terrell, you know I'm still traumatized by Rick Glazer doing that to me. So I'm just trying to make sure. Every time I see somebody jump off of this thing here, I get post-traumatic stress disorder. You know what I'm talking about?
I do, my brother.
So, Mr. Greg, why do you think people get so angry at me when I bring up the snack program? I see you laughing, brother. You might have an answer for us. Why does that bother so many people, man?
It's it makes me laugh because you make them mad. It makes me laugh. I like to think the way you make it sound as though there's something nefarious going on. They get emotional. They get emotional about it, and I've seen it not just on this show. I've seen it on some of the other chat spaces and so forth. There's no reason to get mad about it. There's no reason to even to go through these long-winded discussions. We know it's a nutritious program. We know the reason why it's causing the discussion is because of who actually runs the program, which is Victor Conte. That's just going to be there. I think if once they think about it, understand there's somebody who has a past that has caused a lot of athletes real problems. They can get past that. But when you say the snack program and Victor Conte, they're gonna go crazy, and you know it. It just makes me laugh because I think they believe you are implying that somehow Bud is cheating. And whether you're doing that or not, if you understand steroids and PEDs and so forth, you know what they do and what they can't do. But for the most part, you have your education is where they'll start to get better. If you ever decide to have a whole segment on what they actually do. Right now, when people hear Victor Conte, they think PED, period. And they're just going to go crazy. And when I've heard it, I'm like, okay, we know Bud ain't never been popped for doing anything. Why am I going to fall apart about it? Some people think differently, though. And the way you put it out there, the way you explain it, you know you're going to get them triggered. That's why I laugh about it, because they allow themselves to get triggered behind it. So that's my explanation. So I just I feel for them, because some of them are very emotionally attached to the fighter, and it just hurts their feelings that anything that would even imply that Bud is cheating. That's my feeling about it.
Yeah, I understand. Motorsports, are you back, brother?
Yeah, what's up, brother? My boost mode messing up, man.
I finally had a Bud Crawford admit that the boost mobile service ain't working. Motorsports, I got respect for you, brother, because I thought you dipped out on me, brother. Can you hear me? That boost. That boost mobile. He got the boost mobile. The boost ain't working. Hey, Terrell Barnes, while we trying to refresh his boost mobile, tell me
my joint messing up right now.
Oh, there you go. It's okay, brother. It's all good. We got you, bro. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna go out and come back in when I'm on better Wi-Fi, man. My shit messing up.
All right, no problem. Go ahead, bro. I got you. Oh man, I finally got a Terrence Crawford fan to admit they have the boost mobile and it's not working. I think I made a mistake. I was trying to get Motorsports off the segment, and I think it made a mistake and got Terrell Barnes off. So Terrell, come back up here real quick, man. Terrell Barnes, he don't have boost mobile, Greg. I can assure you of that. He'll be back up here. But the thing is, now you said something, Greg, while we waiting for the viewership is increasing exponentially. You said something about maybe I should, let me back up. You said the educational value would serve certain fans better if I did an entire segment on the snack program. Is that what you were saying?
Well, on just nutritional supplements, period, how they actually serve the athletes who use them, the programs that are out there, including the snack program. I think if you just broke it down, said what it does, what it doesn't do, some people gonna get it. Others are gonna still get mad at you because they're just gonna be mad at you. But at least as part of the education that you do about the business of boxing, the sport of boxing, that's part of it. So you break it down, what it does, why they use it, why is it necessary, why do you think it's necessary, and maybe what you think should be done. I think I might have mentioned one of the times I was on that in order to prevent people from thinking, if you want some kind of using some type of supplements, just eliminate the use of them altogether. I don't think all of them are bad, but anytime you hear that now, because we're cynical people now in many ways. When they just hear that, it's like, okay, that's juicing. They found a way to mask it again. They found a way to cheat. So I think probably the best way to eliminate that from the fans, at least perspective, is just say you can't use nothing. Period. Now, I don't think it should be, but I think it will help fans because it'll eliminate that cynicism from them thinking that you're doing something untoward when you're competing.
Wow, you know what, Mr. Greg, I think that's a good idea. I never thought about doing an entire segment on the snack program or some of the products that Victor Conte sells online, or what are the benefits of being on the program itself. And I never thought about that until you just said it. Maybe that is something that can be helpful to the fan base by providing my perspective on all the things that I know to be true about the snack program. And I'm not talking about any insinuations or inferences. I'm
Right.
talking about the real benefits of the snack program. You know, I'll think about that. I think that's a good idea. Um, I'm waiting for Terrell Barnes to come back. I hope he is able to come back on because that's a good idea. You know what? I know what I can do. Live in living color right now because you said that, Mr. Greg. In the chat, let's do a small poll for everybody that's watching live in living color right now. Do you think that I should do a segment, a live segment on the benefits of the snack program? Yes or no? Let's do the small poll because it was Gregory Quarterbaum's idea. I think it's a really good idea, but let's see what the fan base want. Let's see if this is appealing to the audience. Somebody said yes. Another person said yup. Absolutely. We're getting some good feedback here so far, Mr. Greg. So the question on the floor today, if you are just joining us live and living color or the replay of this live, the question is, should I do an entire segment on the snack program and the benefits of the snack program? Most people are saying yes. One person did say no. Somebody else said yes. Most people are saying yes to that question. I might just do that. I don't know. We got to see what the people want. You know, I like giving people what they want when it's in my arm's reach.
Pardon the pun, but do you have enough juice to get Victor Conte on?
Oh, my brother. Well, speaking of juice, I did try to get Victor Conte on the platform back in February of this year. I didn't talk directly to him. There are people that I know that know Victor Conte. I don't know how well they know Victor Conte.
Right.
I don't think they eat lunch with him or nothing, but they know him well enough to get somebody that they know to get him on the phone. But of course, he doesn't know me. So I'd love to have Victor Conte on this channel. In fact, you know, if I'm gonna do a whole segment on his product, he ought to send me a check. I mean, that's what good businessmen do. But
more people know about you than you think.
Well, you know what? I would have to agree with that, Mr. Greg.
More people know about you than you think. I've in my part of the world, you know, I sometimes will talk that I get a chance to come on and, you know, chat it up with you and some of the other people. They say, yeah, I heard about him. I say, well, you need to come on. You know, I'll tell them come on the show, and if you get on, listen, or if you got something to contribute, you know, throw it out there in a comment or something, you know. But a lot of people who are actually into boxing, and now they also come onto the internet and watch some of the boxing podcasts. They're aware of you. The stuff that people are saying about you, I've heard that too. You know, it's silly to me, but I understand it's entertainment. I understand that. But Yeah, a lot more people are, and that's, I understand when you say you do want that, and yeah, I could understand why they do
Oh,
it. It's funny, but then it makes you want to go on through your channel, see, okay, what this guy talking about?
yes. I mean, we have bigger platforms now, Mr. Greg, that's making me more famous than I am.
Yeah, yeah,
And I mean, and I like it. I invite it because what it's doing is allowing the viewership to increase exponentially. And when it does that, then more of the education that I produce can reverberate around the world much more quicker, you know.
yeah.
And I like it.
I'm
I
waiting
like it.
for the fighters to start coming on the show. Sooner or
Oh
later,
well,
sooner or later, it's gonna happen.
well, it will be very generous if you're the fighter that you are a fan of, Mr. Terrence Bud Crawford, if
Yeah,
he could bless us with his presence live and living color on this show.
I'm working on it. Actually, I don't know Terrence. I know some people around in this outer circle, but I'm trying to see what because I want to see it myself. I want to see you and him talk, and I also want to see the roller tape family get in their questions and so forth, so they can
Yeah,
understand. I mean, he has a story, and it's been that now you're starting to hear about his childhood.
yeah,
That's compelling, and you see him on all the AM shows across the country. That is,
yeah.
I think this whole thing, the hell that he caught and everything else, all meshed together, and now we're hearing and seeing him, and we're hearing him learn because he had to learn. You know what happened. He made some
Yeah,
mistakes, caught it, but he
yes,
learned very quickly. And now you're seeing he got some good PR people. He's doing some good image promotion. He's doing a lot more talking. He's in I mean, on the internet, on TV. I mean, it's everywhere. So he's beginning to cross over. I just hope he don't get big headed and forget. Hey, okay, don't go Hollywood on us. Stay
mhm,
focused. So we'll
mhm.
see what happens. But that's starting to happen for him. So I
Oh
want to
yeah.
see him on your show.
And here's the thing that you said that I congratulate those efforts of Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
This that is where the whole purpose of me talking to him about it when I met him, and even on this podcast, it came from a level of being genuine. Because when you have that type of talent, a lot of people don't recognize how many fighters get overlooked in their careers
Yeah.
that don't make it all the way to the top, even though they have that much talent, but they don't sell a lot of pay-per-views, or they don't sell a lot of tickets, or they don't have that appeal to cross-market their brand. We see that more often. Terrence Crawford, Spence, Tank Davis, Deontay Wilder, these guys who can sell, you know, arenas and make a lot of money. This is just a handful of fighters, man. It's a
Yeah.
lot of professional boxers. And so everybody don't get that opportunity to get to the plateau and reach it to the pinnacle and the height of their career the way that these guys did. So
Yeah.
when you get one or two, we just got to applaud it. So even though people say I hate Bud Crawford, we know that's not true. They say I'm a hater and all this stuff. But the thing about it is that even if Crawford is not watching my channel, which I really don't care if he is or not, but the thing is, even if he's not watching it, the principles that I've been recommending, he's applied them and it works. It worked. And we all got blessed by him and Spence getting the fight. Now, of course, Spence had to give up some things. Of course, Crawford had some demands. Spence might have had some demands too. We don't know, but the bottom line is we got the fight that we all wanted to see. No matter what the outcome was,
Yeah.
we all wanted to see the fight. And we got it because Crawford did the right things. And I believe he should be applauded for that. And I think his story is compelling because there's a lot of us as grown men who may have had the same stories
Mhm.
that Crawford have experienced in his childhood moving forward, whether it be his mother, father, whoever. And so we got to deal with it and put it all out there and to see where he came to today. And guess what? I'm man enough to open a platform for Crawford to say whatever he want to say to me. I'm okay with it because at the end of the workday, we're men and we got to keep it all the way real. We got Terrell Barnes back. Hey,
Hey,
Terrell,
what's
I think
that?
I messed up.
No, sir.
I,
That actually was on me. I
oh,
had something to take care of very quickly, and was able to do so. And now that I'm back, I don't know what I've missed in the process, but I immediately came back online. Mr. Greg, how are you today,
How
sir?
you doing? Good to see you.
Man, I'm at peace, brother. I'm at peace.
Good.
well, I tell you one thing that you missed. Mr. Greg made up a point when you left, and he made a suggestion that maybe I should do an entire segment on the benefits of the snack program. I did a very brief poll in the chat. It was a verbal poll, and people inserted more yeses than nos. We had about one or two nos, but the other people that did respond, they said yes. What say you, Terrell? I mean, what do you
Oh,
think
why
about
not? Yeah, why not? Why not have something, an entire show on the snack program? Most of everything that you do anyway, managers, is educational, and that wouldn't be any different. I'm sure that it'll be educational for a lot of people who are not familiar with Mr. Conti himself. I being one of those who know a little bit about his extensive history in sports, not just boxing. Like we discussed a week or so ago, all the way back to the Barry Bonds days, all the way to cycling, all the way to he's involved in a whole array of different things when it came to um, PEDs, uh, being incarcerated for it, and a whole slew of other sports endeavors when it came to him. So I believe it'll be tremendously educational for all of us to learn about the snack program within itself. Both not just its illegalities that may be tied to Mr. Conti, but the legality. What makes it legal, even. And for professionals to utilize it in a manner that is, right for the sport.
I'm definitely going to consider that. I'm
Yeah,
definitely going to consider that. Now that I got you both up here, Greg is the
right.
Crawford fan, Terrell, you're the Spence fan.
Emphatically.
First, say it again.
No, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Oh, starting with you, Mr. Greg. I mean, Crawford, he said that he will move up to 168 pounds to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, 147 is a weight class that he fits more in. 154 is a possible weight class that he'll fit more in. As you know, he's supposed to fight Spence in his rematch at 154. But you're talking about skipping 160 and going straight up to 168. You're the Bud Crawford fan. I mean, what do you think about that? Canelo at that too, Mr. Greg.
It's a bold move from my perspective, but it also fits what he has said that the next couple of fights, because he doesn't intend to stay around long, would be he's looking for the big money fights. So he's admitted that money is his motivation in the fight. So I understand that completely. I do think 168 is a huge leap for him. Although him and Canelo are the same height, I'm wondering if that putting on that weight immediately and not growing into 168 might be, I'm not sure whether it's going to be a huge problem, but I think it's very bold of him. And judging for how disciplined he is, judging how hard he's going to work, and he's going to utilize every single thing he knows how to do and learn new things, we will see the very best of him. I think we'll see better than what we saw with the first Spence fight if he goes to 168. It's just I'm thinking you're going to go to 154, you're going to have that rematch, you're going to skip 160, and you're going to go 168. So if he's going to do that, I expect to see better than I've ever seen him in the previous way that he fights. But I like the idea. I do think it's rather bold. And you got to do it in, let me see, him and Spence may fight in December. So you do that, and then he's gonna have to wait maybe for if Charlo beats Canelo, and then there's going to be that rematch if that happens. So it'll be a waiting game after he fights Spence when he can actually go and do that fight at 168. So that's where I see it may be some difficulty because it may be longer, and he's going to get older. I mean, we all going to get older, and no matter how well we take care of ourselves, your body going to change up on you. So if it happens in a way that I'm hoping it does, I think it's bold. I look forward to it, but I think he's already going to be in a Hall of Fame. If he makes that next leap and beats Canelo in enough time, because Canelo, I think, was 33, somewhere around there. I think he's about 33, and he beats Canelo. Man, we'll be talking. I'll be gone. And they'll still be talking about Spence when my grand nephews and nieces grow up. They'll be still talking about Crawford if it goes the way that I think it goes. But I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. I do like the idea, but I think that's a bold move for him.
Terrell, you heard what Greg said. I mean, not Canelo. Crawford talked about him having no issues moving all the way up from 147 to 168 to fight Canelo for the big money. I mean, what's your take on that? All that, Terrell?
Speaking of the snack program, listen.
You gotta talk about it now, Marty. You gotta talk about it now.
I believe that surmises quite a bit of what I want to say, man. Let me just give an example right quick before I just really start rambling on that. Our Asian people, our Asian community are known to be a small people, and here recently, the monster, Inoue, it's been speculated that he may have or utilize some juice factors, if you will, to move up in weight like he did, alleged by Stephen and some more of the people in the media. And the same thing will happen with Manny Pacquiao. Because we know our Asian family to be a small people. And for them to come from such lower weight classes and jump up all these heavy weight classes like this, then we're going to need some assistance. Normally, you would think. And so now, to put that in perspective with my brother Bud, Brother Greg, you said 2 weight classes, but in truth, essentially, there would be 3 because he's not 154 yet. He's still 147. So you got 54, 60, and 68. He made the bold statement. Now, to me, that should have some speculation attached to it, particularly being a part of the snack program and all the other things. I mean, you boldly said this from your own lips. Nobody introduced it to you or whatever. You say, hey, man, I want to go fight Canelo or the winner of Charlo Canelo at 168. And I remember the questioner, who was Joe Rogan, by the way, he even asked him, you mean at a catch weight to come down to another weight to fight? He says, no. He's adamant about it. No. 168. So something that you said, Greg, that would lend to the timeline of him being able to do so, even if it's a year's time from now. You got to understand, Bud came from 130, 135, bro. And now you talking 33 pounds later? What we going to do this in a year's time?
About a year's time, yeah. So, with that speculation, I'm almost certain, probably even the next fight, that there's going to be Vada testing that's going to get involved now, because it's too much of that speculation out there now. And I believe that's what's going to happen. And I applaud that if it does, because I think we need to eliminate any or as much of the speculation that Bud is using PEDs. So if he goes from when he comes up to 154 to actually fight, and then you got to wait whatever time he got to wait, and then still jump 160 to 168, I'm almost believe Canelo is going to demand some Vada testing, which is great. But I think Spence probably will do it too. You know, he Spence probably won't ask, but his people will. And I'm sure PBC will probably do it too. And again, I applaud that because I want that eliminated because I understand that Bud is very special, and I hate to see him being smeared without at least some attempts to erase it by doing the Vada testing. And I think that would help tremendously.
Well, Mr. Greg, as a Bud fan such as yourself, be prepared to meet the challenge because the speculation in Manager Marty's favorite words are gonna grow exponentially.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
So
we're gonna get some suspicion, brother.
Yeah,
If you haven't, I mean, you think it's something now, you think it's something now because as a matter of factly, even the opponent that he's calling out has been busted for PEDs.
Yeah.
Who also started at lower weight classes and he all the way up to 200 somewhere, trying to go fight Beeble and all these. See these things like this, man. You have to be able to wonder, what's the exception to these athletes that they're able to keep on crossing these thresholds and nobody is able to question it. Man, you got me messed up. I've been watching boxing since the 70s, brother. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, some of the stuff that we see in the modern day game, the modern day fight game needs to be questioned because I don't care how special Bud is because we've grown up with special fighters, Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, right. Tommy Hitman Hearns, Salvador Sanchez. I can name some names that people on the in the chat may not even recognize. But listen, brother, and not even close to having those type of speculations attached to their names.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter how special Bud is, man. If he's allowing things like this to be attached to his name, Victor Conte, Daniel Kinahan, PEDs, all of these things, man. If you're that special, why do you need all of this? Why are you so all of a sudden locking arms with people in the industries that are vagabonds and losers, man?
That disturbs
no
me.
Pun intended.
I get you. That disturbs me a lot. Daniel Kinahan thing doesn't really bother me because boxing has always had that kind of character around it, even the promoters. Gotcha. So I mean, you gotta remember, even with Don King and Bob Arum, both of them came and got in trouble with Congress about how they were dealing with boxing.
That's true. So
I could deal with that. The Victor Conte thing does bother me that his name is they so attached to him now. And so just like when Bud made his mistakes trying to be a businessman before he actually learned and caught hell for it, I accept he's gonna have to catch the hell from being attached to Victor Conte. So the only way you're going to be able to counter that is to start by testing. I really believe he should start now and just test it all the way through up into the Spence fight and beyond, just to at least show that, okay, y'all might believe I did it, but I'm getting randomly tested all the way through.
Right.
Or maybe the Canelo fight. Now, then we can look at how he performs, how he handles the weight, and so forth and so on. So at least there'll be some measures that we all can agree on of watching what happens to him. Because yes, I agree. These modern times and what's available to athletes now, because there's this emphasis on winning because the world of sports is such a multi-billion-dollar industry now. And that money keeps coming as long as you keep winning. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
that all cost thing has just taken a terrible toll on a lot of athletes who got caught. Marian Anderson, what's the cyclist name who was winning? I mean,
right.
Yeah, so their reputations and what they've done is just in shambles. I mean, they can't even show
ruined them.
their face in the yeah. So I want to see that kind of thing where they're being tested. Let me make sure you who you say you are. Yeah, we might can love you, but if you lying to us, we're gonna get you exposed. And I'm a great fan, but I'm very I like to think I'm very honest about anybody I'll stand behind in any kind of situation. Be right all the time for what you do, and then somebody say you're doing something, I say, nah, yeah, they testing him. But that's the only thing that we really can do at this point, and because now he's unattached himself to him, he's in pictures with him. There are other athletes who are also going to get questioned as they rise up. I mean, I think is it Devin Haney on the snack program as well?
Right.
Yeah. As soon as things start happening in a way that's going to draw suspicion to him, it's going to come right back. Is he in the snack program? Is he being tested? Et cetera, et cetera. So that those guys have to understand that suspicion is going to be there. So do something about it. Either get out the program and use something else. If you're going to stay, be subjected to the Vada testing and to the speculation and the suspicion that you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. You know, you can't have it both ways. You got to either get out, get tested still, or accept that people are going to look at your side eye a little bit, depending on how a fight goes and how you actually look. That
cyclist, by the way, name was Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, Lance Armstrong. I couldn't think of his name.
Right. And however, man, listen, in my time coming up, man, I'm a 60 baby, Mr. Greg. Yeah, I'm 65, brother. And let me tell you, man, in my time coming up, man, there was an old saying, where there's smoke, there is fire.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you see the smoke with Mr. Crawford, but I see some smoke, brother. And in light of that, you know, despite how wonderful and talented he is as a boxer and how athletic he is, man, I just pray that this brother hasn't made that mistake, because I mean, I'm not so much a Spence fan or a boxing fan to want to wish that on somebody, right, if you will. But boy, I see the smoke, and when the fire surfaces, oh man, there's gonna be so many hearts broken. There's gonna be so many people salivating in that foolishness, man. It's just gonna be bad for him and the sport of boxing. Because look, if you would look at what just look what Terrence is right now. I've been seeing Terrence everywhere since he beat Spence. I've never seen this brother do an interview prior to that, unless it was on YouTube or something light. But this brother is everywhere. Joe Rogan, everywhere, brother. Morning shows. I've seen this brother everywhere. So by him, I guess, tasting the success, man, and being able to get out there after such a magnificent showing and win over such an elite fighter such as Errol Spence. And we're gonna get our get back too, so don't get it twisted. But after seeing that, you know what I mean, and something like that were to happen with the brother would be tremendously tragic in my view, in my opinion, man. Especially he belongs to us.
Yeah.
You know, I like Terrence, but just not over Spence, even including what happened the last fight, because I don't believe my guy was 100%. I believe there was something wrong with my guy. Even in losing, he wasn't supposed to lose like that. Yeah. You understand? So, but I still wouldn't want to see anything wrong happen to Brother Bud. Not like that, man.
Devastated in ways that he couldn't imagine if that was even remotely true. If he even just tested it one time, that would destroy everything that he's built up. Every bit of hell that he's caught, be it outside the ring, be it in the business. I would say if that actually was proven to be true, we would probably be looking for a suicide watch or something as drastic as that, because that's how bad I think it would be. You know, if that was, we've seen how people get destroyed already. I mean, have you seen Marion Anderson living in a trailer now?
Wow.
I mean, that's how terrible her life turned once she got
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see it even worse because Bud got his whole family that he's taking care of. 6 kids. Suddenly, y'all doing well, and then just one hint, and it's proven. So
Listen, he can always invest in the snack program.
well, he does have a gym, so but overall, I don't believe he's done it. I'm 100% sure right now, but I would be the first person if it came out to be on the show. Got to take the slaps against the head, you know.
Boy, listen, I'm gonna hold you to that, brother.
Yeah, I'll be right
Because
here.
I know I'll be here.
I'll be standing on my square because I know D-Town will be here to get at me.
Oh, my brother D-Town, the real Marlowe too.
All of them. Yeah. Get your whole butt off this show with them. I can see him now.
Yes.
Back that you were speaking of, I don't want to disappoint you because I really love you guys.
Absolutely.
But
likewise.
It ain't no get back coming. When they fight, it'll be more the same. They'll just be at the 154 weight. I was hoping that somehow a 154 title could have been in the mix from them. I would love to see one of them for whatever reason, because I'm kind of thinking PBC and Heyman are trying to steer Spence into taking a get back fight first before they do the rematch. But it could happen. It might happen, but if it's going to happen, I'd rather see him go ahead and take the belt from Zoo, and then they fight for a 154 belt in the rematch. I think that would be more compelling as well.
Has Tim Zoo already been given the WBO?
Well, it's just a matter of
interim
formality. Once, from my understanding, once Charlo comes into the ring,
right,
with Canelo, and they announce it because they want to both be undefeated, undisputed. Once that happens, then Tim Zoo will rise up to officially being a WBO champion. That's what I've read.
The latest that I've heard, which was last week, that they are reviewing that premise about stripping him, Charlo, that is, about stripping him of the WBO once he enters into the ring to make that announcement. Okay. They're looking at it again right now. So, to my understanding, unless that happens, then there won't be one available. Right. It'll just be a rematch at 54.
However it goes, there are interesting things going on, but to remove all the speculation, I'm one who is in agreement. Let's start the testing today. Let's not wait until they start getting closer to the fight. Let's start the testing today to at least to counteract the speculation that's out here right now, because I'm starting to see more and more questions about Crawford using PEDs and so forth, and it's counterproductive for him. It's kind of harmful to his image, even if it's just a small segment. Nobody needs to think you this great guy and you cheating, or there's suspicion that you're cheating, because now we have too many tools out here with technology, people willing to talk off camera, people who got real information to say, okay, back in this particular time, I slipped him this. I told him what it's for. He took it. Anything like that is going to hurt you. So let's just get in front of it. That's the best thing they can really do, is just get in front of it. Even if you didn't do it, still get in front of it anyway and do what fans want you to do in terms of testing. So I'm for that. Once that is happening, then we can see, okay, yeah, well, he beat Spence's ass the first time. Yeah, he did it again. So we can't use that as an excuse. That's for sure.
Man, listen, when they see each other this time, Earl is going to be, in my mind, much better prepared fighter.
I hope so.
And we're talking a lot about Crawford with the speculations and the snack program, PEDs, the association. I'm
Yeah.
not quite accusing him of it,
Right.
but I do have suspicion. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm an honest man. I do and truly have suspicions. I got 39 fights prior to the one he fought that night to say that I should be suspicious. And then on the flip side of the coin with my guy, I got 28 fights ahead of his saying that something was wrong with him that night. You understand? That was an Errol Spence that I've never seen before, and I've been following him for a very long time, man. Um, his particularly when I look at 47 at his punch resistance, and I was looking at the shots that was knocking his brother to the mat, man, was just. And then, but even before a punch was thrown, Greg, I told my son next to me that something didn't appear to be right with the brother. To me,
Yeah.
because I'm the
Did you
type of
ask
brother I'm gonna
why?
watch the.
I'm
Excuse
sorry.
me.
I'm sorry. The thing that I when I hear you say it, other people say something was wrong. Did anybody ask why, if we saw it or you saw it, why didn't Derek James see it before they even came to fight night? And then
Brother.
once the fight started happening, why did Derek James never do anything, in my opinion, you see your guy getting hit in the head and in the temple constantly. You say you saw something was off. You say you was talking to the doctors during the course of the fight. Why did Harvey Doc have to do what you should have did when you realized something was wrong with your guy from the very beginning? So what I'm wondering is what was happening in the gym during training for this particular fight that you miss something is wrong with your guy coming into the biggest fight of his life. So I don't never hear a real harsh examination of why that was allowed to happen. Nobody has said, well, we was in the gym, we missed some days. Maybe he came in at 190 and the training had to be a fat camp first of losing weight. Haven't heard any of those kind of things. All I've heard was we know something was wrong. We could see it, but his trainer should have seen it before you did. We saw it on the night. Guys who were looking at it that way saw it on the night of the fight as he was walking into the ring. So why didn't his trainer not? I mean, I don't understand how he allowed that ever to happen, and there's no explanation other than, well, he was weight drained. This is not the first time he's had to lose. We've been talking about weight since the Garcia fight and probably beyond that. So what were they doing before that he was still able to come into the ring and fight, but then couldn't do it this last fight?
My perspective, first of all, personally, my opinion is very bold. And I don't care who believes me or not, et cetera, et cetera. That doesn't matter to me. I'm a
Right.
free thinker.
Right.
You understand? I believe that Earl didn't even know what the hell was wrong with him until it was too late. I believe Derek James didn't see it because Derek was on the suspicion that there probably was something going on with Terrence's gloves. As you've seen when Terrence came over there to embrace Earl, Derek checked his gloves. So that was an indication to me that he didn't really think that something was so badly wrong with Spence that he had to notice. He checking your boy's gloves. That's what his suspicion was. In his defense, if it's me.
Mm-hmm.
And with Spence, personally, I heard him say, man, I felt all right, but I was a little off. My time was off, but I felt all right. Meaning prior to coming into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But drunk people feel all right, brother.
Yeah.
People who use drugs say they feel all right, brother.
Good.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I brought up something from my own way of looking at it. because what Spence appeared to be to me, he appeared to be someone induced with something. That's my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because even I've watched fighters fight weight drained, and a guy that's strong as Earl, even if weight drained, it's not going to show up as fast as it did second round. You already on the canvas from a two-piece. I mean, not no just no. When I look at the two-piece over and over again, it just wasn't like no super vicious two-piece. It was nice, but I seen him get hit off guard harder than that.
Go back to the first round. See, it's been my speculation that in the first round when Earl came out very strong. I think Terrence got one punch in, but it was at the forehead, it was at the top of the head and the temple. I think that is what really hurt Spence, and he never fully recovered because at the very next round, as you said, a simple two
Right.
put him down.
Right.
I think it was that one punch in the first round that kept him in jeopardy, and he stayed in jeopardy for the entirety of the fight. Now, I don't believe he was that weight drained myself. I think it was that one fight because I've seen someone get hit by somebody who's smaller. They're stronger, bigger, but that one punch here, that can, well, you know what it can do to you. You know, it can put you down, or it can throw your entire equilibrium off.
That's true.
It can make you unbalanced. Sometimes the entirety of the fight, you still can win, but you're still off balance. But I just think because of how well he was trained, I talked about Bud, that one punch, I believe, is what did it.
But Greg, even with that one punch that you mentioned, if you get hit to that temple, both you and I know that the effect is going to be immediate. It's not going to wait till no second round to show up. Not to the temple.
Well, it wasn't to me. It wasn't as solid as it could have been. But I think that's what staggered him. I think that just threw him off just enough for the next round. Because Earl is still a strong fighter. I think he was strong enough to absorb it because he didn't get the full blunt of the punch. Because it seemed like Bud had pulled back a little bit on the punch. But that's just my speculation. It could,
right, I get you.
Be wrong.
But Earl didn't look Earl, man, from even the round that they say he won. Yeah, that's because Bud threw very few punches and all the other things. But nah, man, that's I'm still not satisfied, man. It was something wrong with this brother, man. I'm standing on it. I'm standing on it.
Wrong with it. I'm only gonna say I still believe that Derek James. I can't believe Derek James just thought there was something in Bud's gloves. I can't believe.
Well,
I think he just didn't. I don't think he paid enough attention to, in my opinion, to Earl doing training because we don't know what's going on during training. But even if he had the fact that your man getting beat from pillar to post and the ref got to do what you can see, it's time to save your guy. At least by the 7th round, it was time to save your guy. Pull him out. He ain't gonna get what he needs to get this time. You got a rematch already. So I do hold Derek James somewhat responsible too for how Earl was performing and why you didn't pull him out. And then I didn't see Earl do nothing different than what you normally see him do. We were seeing
that's because you was too busy watching Bud.
Because
and
Bud,
what he was doing.
Yeah, because Bud was doing his thing.
Yeah, Earl, so you ain't watching Earl.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't you just grab him, tie him up, throw his rhythm off?
Yeah, you ain't. You know, I when I hear the Crawford fans speak to that degree, it's a simple answer. That's because you guys ain't paying attention to Earl like that. You watching Bud beat the hell out of the man. Well, you know what I mean? Everybody. Yeah, but.
You know, if you heard me, I expected, but I mean, Marty will tell you the very first time I came on this show, I told Marty, this is before any speculation about anything. I said, Bud is going to easily beat Earl Spence. This is the first time I was on the show. So I expected the easy fight from the very beginning. What I didn't expect is for Earl to be as I'll say compliant. That's a kind word. I expected Earl to do a little bit more, and I said that too. I said if Earl's going to come stepping like he said he was going to do, he was going to have to step all night. Well, he tried to step in the first round, and that was it.
Mr. Greg, we should have stayed on the snack program issue because now you didn't open up a whole can of worms, brother.
It's okay. I'm for
listen,
it.
listen, man. Y'all so busy watching. First of all, I can't see how you said. That was probably wishful thinking when you said it to manager Marty back then.
No.
But so you're telling me that you expected Bud to look better against Spence than what he has in fighters that are lower tier fighters or fighters that are less than what Errol Spence is skill wise. Am I getting you correctly?
Yeah, and I told him why I expected that. I always said that that Spence had discipline.
Look at you. You can't stop saying his name.
Yeah, I can't. I said Spence had discipline problems.
Okay.
Any fighter, regardless of what the talent is, has to bring everything, how he thinks, the philosophy he lives by, how he takes care of his body, what he does publicly, what he does for entertainment, how he trains, how he continues to improve. That's all part of the fighter when he comes into the ring. Spence has already shown that he had discipline issues. And I think that was part of the reason I said, okay, this guy done got the big money because PBC, and I say Al Heyman has done a great job at that. Those fighters were getting some nice money very early instead of waiting way down the road. So that money has done things to the fighters where now they're riding around in the Rolls Royces, they're at the clubs, they're not doing as much as they needed to do to stay disciplined, to stay sharp. And I've seen it in a lot of the other fighters because they have little problems in the clubs, getting robbed with the Charlo brothers. The girl robbed them in the nightclub. Wilder decided he don't need to train as much because he got power. All of that has to do with now you've already got the money early that you would have taken longer to get if PBC wasn't the guy that brought y'all into the fold and started paying you. I mean, you have things like Keith Thurman in the bank wondering how you cash $1 million check. Those are great things for you to get early, so when you still can enjoy it. But on the back end, I think it also takes away that hunger, that desire to be better than you were the last fight. That desire to let me learn some new things so I can be even more excited in the next fight. So, and that's a discipline issue from my perspective. So when I told Marty that it was going to be an easy fight, I was looking at all the things that Spence had done that's going to affect him and has affected him, in my opinion, when he fights. So that's why I told Marty this is going to be an easy fight.
A lot of things to which you allude to, man, had been corrected after the car crash. Particularly the partying, all of that stuff, and the thing about Spence, this is one of the things that I love about the young man. He admittedly told us all of the things that we're saying. Ain't nobody have to come and say this about him. He admittedly said what the mistake was. Hold on a second.
Yeah, go ahead, get it right. Miss Tashi, thank you very much. I see what she's saying.
Yes, thank you for your contribution and your support again, Tosh. She says, Gregory, you're the only Bud fan I have respect for.
Thank you, madam. I appreciate it. Because a lot of people say some mean things about me too. But Mr. Barnes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know he corrected a lot of those issues, but there's those are the after effects. It's just like if you smoke.
Right.
You stop smoking, but there's still some damage there. And even though you're training better, you put the cigarettes away, there's still some after effects. Just like with Spence, I believe the accident has taken a toll on him. I believe the drinking has taken a toll on him, even though he stopped. Those are the issues that I'm looking at in the long run. Ray Leonard, for instance. Now, I live out here with Ray. Ray had some issues too, as you know.
Right.
And so he had to change, but he was a little more disciplined than Spence, of course. But he had to change how he fought. And you saw that in the Hagler fight. And he had some accidents. He had to detach retina and things like that. So that's how I came to a conclusion about that being an easy fight. It had nothing to do. I didn't even know anything about the snack program at the time. I just look at the overall effects of how you live, what you do, and say, okay, this is going to be easy, because I knew the fight probably was going to happen soon. It didn't happen as fast as I wanted it to, and I think everybody else, but it did. And that's where my conclusion came from. It wasn't just wishful thinking. You know, froze again, Mr. Barnes.
My mic wasn't on.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I have to conclude that you did say all the stuff that you said, Greg, way before the fight was even officially announced. You basically said everything was going to happen, where Crawford was going to dominate him. And you gave your reasons why. You definitely gave, all of your reasons why. I think this was a great dialogue between you and Terrell Barnes. This is
Love that. Love it. Hope we have more of it with other people as well.
Yep. And this is what this is supposed to be. I mean, because even though we have different perspectives, if most people listen to your perspective, they can shake their head and say, I can see what Greg's talking about. If people listen to Terrell's perspective, they can say, I can see what Terrell's talking about. And that's what this thing, is basically all about. I have one more question for you, and I promise I'll let you go as we're about to end this segment.
Okay.
Real quick. You talked about testing happening in the rematch. And you talked about testing for Crawford if he fights Canelo. People in the chat were saying this, and I'm going to echo the same sentiments. If the testing does happen, let's just say Crawford moves up to 168. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, that Canelo beats Charlo, and then Crawford wants to fight Canelo at 168 pounds to take those titles from Canelo. If you say that testing should be a part of the process to get that fight to happen, if Victor Conte is skilled enough to know how to circumvent the testing, how is that going to work, in your opinion?
What I understand about what Victor Conte did, it wasn't the PEDs that were undetectable. There was a second chemical, I'm going to call it, called the clear, which covered up the PEDs. My understanding is that you can, if you knew what to look for at the time, detect the clear. That's my understanding. If I'm wrong, please correct me. So I think now that they know how he was doing it, that they would look for the clear first. And if it's there, then it's covering up something. That's automatic from my perspective. I also think the testing should start now. It shouldn't wait till the Canelo fight comes up. I think what Vada needs to do, since he's traveling around, since he's going on shows, it should be easier for those random tests to take place, because he's not in the gym. So it's not like they're breaking up training, and they're going to come in the gym as well. But I think the testing should begin immediately, and it should last throughout the rest of his career, really, because that's going to be something that might follow him, and he wants to really be in front of it. That's my opinion about it. Because as you know, I'm staunchly pro Bud. So I also want him to be right in every aspect of his career. And if that means he got to start testing now, then do so. So if it gets to the point where he fights Canelo, if that happens, he already got a long history, or at least 2 years of history, of being tested for PEDs. So that's my feeling about that. But in terms of how it would be detected, that's the only thing that I know about how they were masking the PEDs was with the clear. and the clear now can be detected. So again, if they find clear in Bud's system, why is it there? Because it's only there to mask something.
Right. And that's no speculation. That's just you,
Yeah.
just give an example. If he did fight Canelo, answer my question about the testing. Terrell Barnes is back. Terrell, I asked Mr. Greg the question. I'll ask you the same question, and we'll end this segment on this, and that's will allow us to segue into the snack program segment that I'm very highly considering putting together. So Terrell, I asked you the same thing I asked Greg, and that is, and the fans were asking in the chat as well. Greg said if Canelo was to fight Crawford, if Crawford go right up there fighting Canelo, let's say hypothetically speaking, Canelo beats Charlo, he keeps and maintains his 168-pound division titles, and then Crawford moved from 147 and go all the way up there to 168 to, fight Canelo. If Greg's saying it should be testing in that fight or for that fight, if they did fight, how can
Absolutely.
that be possible if people are saying Victor Conte knows how to circumvent the testing for fighters to go to the Vada or any Olympics style testing protocol and basically test negative, but the product is still the supplements or whatever steroids or illegal drugs in their system. He knows how to circumvent the testing. So will testing even matter if he goes up to fight Canelo? Mr. Greg said that back in those times, even 20 years ago, 15 years ago, just those times we saw in the Netflix documentary, the clear, which was the substance underneath the tongue, right? To be able to use as a masking agent for the PEDs. This is how they were able to, they meaning the athletes was able to have negative results and test negative, even though they had the EPO, HGH, and insulin in their system illegally. If Victor Conte knows how to circumvent all of that, how's this even possible for the testing to be a legitimate process, in your opinion?
Man, in my opinion, it's going to be highly improbable, if not impossible, because you intercepted my thought actually when we first started talking about this, about Mr. Conte having the ability to circumvent tests. I really and truly don't have an answer for that. I don't know how you get around such a thing with that type of science in existence. Unless there's something or someone out there who can circumvent the circumventer, if you will, then that's gonna be a tremendously tough task. I'm starting to feel like we need to put an asterisk by the brother's name.
Tell them what I said, Marty. I said, Mr. Barnes, that unless there's been improvement in the clear can be detected. It's just at the time nobody even knew to look for the clear, so there was no way to think there was anything going on. Now,
but Greg,
wait, just 1 minute. If the clear has not been improved where you can't even catch it now, but let's just say it hasn't. So if they test Bud, and I'm saying they start testing Bud now, not just to the Canelo fight, and they find the clear in his system, game over, because the clear is only there to hide the PED in the first place.
But Mr. Greg, both you and I know that the clear was 15, 20 years ago.
Right, I said if it hadn't improved.
Yeah, so imagine what they have today. So how would they know what to test? You can look for the clear all day. They're not even using clear anymore.
Maybe not, but everybody's getting caught much easier now, and I wonder why.
Because they can't afford the Victor Conte style of not being detected.
No,
You gotta
I'm not
you
gonna
might.
go with that one.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying the money might not be long enough, brother.
I ain't gonna go with that. I think
Hey, the money might not be long enough, or it might not be important enough.
they just
Sometimes sometimes there'll be a sacrifice here and there to make it look like it still works.
I think it's just carelessness on the athlete's part, not thinking they're gonna get caught. I think there's just like there's science to hide, there's new science to find. So I think now that we know that there's a drug that was designed to hide things, I'm sure there's techniques that has improved over the 15-year period to circumvent that. So we're going to be scientists are going to be going back and forth with that. But all we know is what's available now. So
go ahead and call your brother Bud, man. Go ahead and call your brother Bud. Tell him to get in line.
I want him to. I want Vada to be in his house while we're talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because
I
believe in him. So if I believe in him, get him at your house, film it if you have to, keep doing it for the duration of your career. He got enough money now to pay for Vada to come randomly like they do. And I think Nonito was on 24/7 Vada for a while too, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know Bud done made a lot more money, so he can afford to do that. So if your name means enough, you'll do it. Now I don't know if anybody is saying that to him yet, but me as a fan will say that to him. Your name has got to be important enough that you're gonna go in that pocket and break off some of that money from the millions you've already made that you're gonna get to make sure you do all you can to protect your name.
Probably can afford that undetection too.
Well, we have to see. Because Spence might do a little something himself. Okay. Yeah, let's not forget, it's two fighters in this game, not just one.
Well, he's already been beckoned by manager Marty to go over to the snack program. You understand me?
I wish he would.
Let's get that sponsorship.
If he's listening to this podcast right now, I recommend Aerosmith Jr. go over to the snack program, baby. Absolutely.
We're going to tell Victor to send you a check, Marty.
Hey, man, that's right.
I said his name a couple of times in the last couple of podcasts.
Yeah.
Program, so you deserve a check.
Yeah, man.
At least 5 figures.
Yeah.
Victor Conti, if you're listening. If somebody you know is listening, I am one of the best promoters when it comes to making up my own slogans, making up my own interpretations, insinuations, or whatever you want to call it. But Victor Conti, I am a believer that the snack program works. Cut me the check, Victor. All you got to do is email me and cut me the check, baby.
Well, we'll know if we see you in a t-shirt next time we come on.
Mr. Greg, you said it, Mr. Greg, not me, brother. Not me, brother. You said it.
I want you to get paid.
Huh?
Yes, man.
I want you to get paid.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
This is what this all about.
Yeah, brother.
You know,
absolutely.
Mr. Greg, I always think 10 steps ahead of the game. You know, so when people are saying, oh, you calling Bud a cheater, you are a hypocrite, you want him to get caught, you didn't know. Calm down. I'm trying to get me an endorsement deal first. I don't know what the heck y'all talking about. So
that's right.
Hey,
that's right. That's
it's
right.
all about marketability, and you can't find another content creator that does it the way I do it. And that's what I love about this channel and this podcast, brothers.
That's why we're here, brother.
That's why we're here.
Appreciate it. Let me get this last super check and I'll get your last words. 2 Cents Boxing, another supporter of the channel. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Greg, you already answered this question for him about, you know, if let me tell you what he said first. Why wouldn't you think he improved the clear? And you said even if the clear, quote unquote clear, is improved, technology has improved, in your opinion as well, Greg, to be able to circumvent whatever the clear was back then, to be able to stop it from, basically spreading through, the athlete system like a wildfire without them being caught, because it is a masking agent. And we are saying the clear is a masking agent, not because we're assuming or insinuating, but because on the Netflix documentary that aired last Tuesday, Victor Conte himself and the FBI agent both confirmed that the quote unquote clear was a masking agent, uh, to basically hide the fact that athletes were on HGH, EPO, and insulin all at the same time, throughout a calendar month that Victor Conti would basically organize and orchestrate for them to cycle on and off and be able to have it in their system and build it up. These are Victor Conti's words, not mine. So that's why we talk about the clear. And most people that don't know what we're talking about,
Right.
we're referring to the language used in the documentary about Victor Conti and his Balco scandal with steroid use, when it comes to athletes in the documentary. Um, Love the dialogue between you, both of you guys. You both made some great points. I look forward to both of you guys coming back on a panel this week. I have a very, very special segment that I'm not going to let out the bag now, but I can't wait to produce it for all of you live and living color. Uh, Mr. Greg, 30 seconds. Give us your last words. What you got for us, man?
Nothing new. First of all, thank you for engaging with me, Mr. Terrell. I enjoyed it. It's
My pleasure, brother.
young. I heard you say young brothers, but you're close to my age. I'm a little bit older than you.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward now to seeing the rematch whenever it happens. I hope that Spence is in the best of shape. He's healed. I hope he's healed up, and that become a fight that I thought it was going to be the first time in terms of what Spence was going to be able to do. He's still going to lose. But the point is, I at least want to lose, a little less worse than he did the first time, but I don't think so. I'm looking more forward to the Charlo. I'm sorry. I would like to see him fight Charlo, but we might not see that one. I'm looking forward to seeing that bold fight to me with Canelo. I think the fans would be excited about it. I think of course, it's going to be a big money fight, and if Charlo wins, it will be a big money fight for Earl, for Bud as well. But I do hope we continue to have these kinds of conversations in the chats, in the comments, where we can really learn and relearn and do things that are very entertaining, and at the same time grow what we do. So the sport will be better for your grandchild, your grandson, and so forth and so on. Now, remember, when my grandfather or my great uncle used to talk about this stuff, and I've learned something. And if you put in your children, I think Tashi puts her son in boxing. I hope she's learning something to pass on to him as well. So I hope we're doing that kind of thing, because we ain't gonna be here for long. I consider this my fourth quarter. So let me put out everything that I have to put out of boxing and other things in other areas while I can, so somebody else can benefit from that knowledge that I have. And everybody else that comes on the same way. So that's what I got.
Good stuff, Mr. Greg. Appreciate your support. Appreciate your viewership. Always coming on the panel, dropping knowledge and wisdom to us. Appreciate you, my brother. Terrell Barnes. Man, it was a great dialogue between you and Mr. Greg.
Thank you.
Before you go, you're welcome. Before you go, let me get these last super chats. I want
Yes, sir.
to allow you to answer this last question. Money Magic, thank you for your support and your contribution, Money Magic, to this channel. As always, Money Magic says, sipping on snacks. That was from my guy, Money Magic. And then we have Many Face Publishing, a day one supporter of this channel, always riding hard, unwavering support. Always a pleasure to see Many Face Publishing in the chat. Many Face Publishing asks these questions, and Terrell, I'll let you get 30 seconds, but also answering these two questions. Why is Conte still allowed around boxers or sports, period? If Pete Rose is banned, how is he allowed still around any sport? If you have the answers to those questions, or what is your perspective on those answers, and then give us your 30 seconds, my brother.
Uh, First and foremost, I believe because you know I'm not ashamed to talk about my background. I'm a formerly incarcerated convict, and I did 17.5 on a 20 in the Federal Bureau of Prisons.
Mm.
And in saying that, I know a little bit about how certain things go when it comes to that type of perspective. Um, when you start to cooperate, you get a little leeway opposed to someone who is non-cooperative. If you're non-cooperative and you're dealing with uh, a powerful machine such as the feds, then you're held to a more stringent test, if you will. So that's my perspective on that. He's allowed to do it because he's very well possibly looking for that next person to expose that will keep his name out of the clear or in the clear. Or, there's all type of things that can, I mean, as you can see just from listening to me, I don't really and truly have any faith in systems systematically that will allow a Victor Conte even near sports. We don't allow people who are offenders of other crimes to be able to participate or go near what you know they were convicted of. So it shouldn't he shouldn't be an exception. But when you are cooperative, there are some things that happen behind closed doors that can be very, very eye opening. Let me just put it like that, man. And with my last 30 seconds, and I pray that I answered the question to the brother in the super chat. But with my last 30 seconds, first let me pay homage to you, brother manager Marty, everybody in the chat at the sound of my voice, uh, those who will be listening likewise on the replay. Thank you all for allowing us, to be able to entertain you all tonight and take this opportunity to speak about this wonderful sport of boxing. And for those of you who are on here listening, be assured that I can welcome you to the modern day style of boxing of what we are witnessing in today's time. But with my 30 seconds, man, I would like to say, listen, nobody, I do mean nobody, should want to place themselves in danger, their own lives, or the life of another man because you want to win so badly. Particularly when you are already an exception to the rule. You are an exceptional human being. You are a above average human being with what you like to do or what you have been blessed to do. And when we are like that, sometimes we can just want more and more and more. And we have to be mindful of that, not to fall into the traps and the things that are set for us out here in this world's life, man, because nobody really cares. It is designed for us to fall into. Next thing you know, we're in trouble. And the next thing you know, all hell breaks loose. So the sport of boxing, I pray that it improves. I pray that we no longer have to even have conversations such as these, particularly with our own people, man, who are magnificent, talented athletes and fighters, man, in the sport of boxing. To even have to discuss this is disheartening. But again, thank you all. And I hope to be back on the panel here soon. And yeah, that's my time, man. That's my time.
Thank you, Terrell. And Tashi sends a super chat again. Thank you, Tashi, for your support and your contribution. Tashi says, real ish Terrell. People are in the
Yes,
chat
ma'am.
saying facts, 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 because everything you said was real. And I'm glad that you were able to provide and offer, your a piece of your background here
Absolutely.
to the audience, and everyone definitely can relate to you as far as the things that you said, even if they didn't have some of the similar experiences as you. We
Right.
all can relate to the realities of what you said. And that's really the life principles that we provide here on this channel, whether, Bud agrees or not, whether his fans agree or not. It was real and it was true. And that's what this thing is really all about. And I appreciate you, Mr. Terrell Barnes, as always, man, for your support, for your wisdom. I'm letting you close the show out. So that was it. Tune in live and live in color sometime this week. I could come back here tomorrow. We shall see. I got something real good for each and every last one of you. Thank you to Terrell and Mr. Greg and the chat
Yes,
for
sir.
giving me some ideas on what the next segment is going to be about. And you don't want to miss it. I'll give
Can't
you
wait.
all a hint. 2 words. I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to leave you all with it. Well, no, I'm going to do 3 words. The snack program.